Today we have a really interesting topic because it's from West Texas, and the folks here from West Texas are going to let us know about a very important celebration that they're having in Lubbock. I'd like to introduce them um, from one side of the screen to the other. First of all, there's Margaret Randall. She's at the upper right of, she's just waved, thank you. There's Ann Crowder. She's got glasses and a white turtleneck and that sort of thing. And then below her, to my left, is Olivia Sanders. And then there is Kaylin Nickerson. Did I say that right, Kaylin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And so what we're doing is we're talking about the 100th, excuse me, the 100th anniversary of St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church. I got to be correct about this. Greater St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church. So welcome to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sure, sure. Now, let's start with you, Margaret. You are the co-chair of the celebration this year, and Anne has been the co-chair 2 years ago when it was 98. So what led you to, how long have you been working on making sure that this is a great celebration at Greater St. Luke?
Well, and again, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity. Gemeral, because of COVID, we've had to change what we're doing. Actually, Kaylin's mother and I were chaired this committee last year, April of 2020, I guess. And then COVID came, so we had to pivot and kind of do some things. And then we said, you know what? All of these wonderful things that we had planned for 2020, we'll do those in 2021. And nothing was virtual. Everything was going to be face to face. We were going to have parades and just the whole gamut, just to really celebrate and acknowledge 100 years of being able to serve as a church. Well, as we all know, we're still limited as to what we can do. So we're having to do things virtually. So we are already saying some of the things that we had planned for 2000, that we will put those off and we will celebrate them when we get a chance to, even if it's in 2022. Because, you can't ever just stop with just one day of celebrating a church that has been around for 100 years. So we have put our heads together, relying on former members, on current members who have vivid stories of things that have happened there at church. So just trying to make sure that we pull all of those in and really acknowledge the wonderful things that the church has done over 100 years, and to remember and celebrate the members of the church who have contributed and who have made the church that it is.
Sure, sure. And what's one of the earlier memories that you have as a member of St. Luke?
Now, I don't want to go too far back.
You can go back as far as you like, okay?
All right. Now, when my family and I moved to Lubbock, I remember that the church was at its present location, but it had been moved from the Avenue A. That was where the church originally was, and it was moved to the present location.
Okay.
And the structure was a two-story building.
2 stories, okay.
2 stories. And that is where our current youth department Sunday school classes are.
Sure.
All right, before we built the sanctuary.
Sure.
All right, and I know it's a lot, remodeling has been done, but going back then, well, I was in Sunday school back when Mrs. Merle Terry was there, and that's been some years back. All right, she was my junior Sunday school teacher.
Sure.
All right, and then I was promoted to Miss Johnny Mae Robinson. Anyway, that was back the things that I remember. when I was a youth. Now, there being that young, it's a lot of things that slip my memory. At least I didn't think was that important because, you know, I was young. So that didn't that didn't, that didn't phase me at all at that time. But
Sure.
the older I got, but then I got a little more involved in, in church because I don't want to do all the talking, but I
Fine, ma'am.
got
You're
so
fine.
I served as in the junior mission. I was
Uh-huh.
president of the junior mission for years. Eventually, I went up to I promoted myself to another mission because I wasn't junior anymore. But anyway, I those were some good old days. Those were good days. I'll say good old days. Those were good days.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So and right now I'm working as Sunday school superintendent,
Mhm.
and then I sing in the choir. I think I got too many roles, So I need to back off and let Olivia take it up at some of those roles. Now I need to. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna retire, but I just need to step back and let some of the younger people get involved.
Sure, sure. Well, there seems to be enough young people to do that, and we have two today. We have Olivia and Kaylin. Um, Now, which one of you were members before the other?
I believe I was a member first. Um, when I first went to St. Luke Baptist Church, I was 10 months old,
Okay.
and my parents had just moved back to Lubbock. My grandmother is Annie Sanders, and she's been at the church for many years, and so that's how my family originated our membership at the church. So my grandmother had very many roles in the church. She was on the usher board. She helped and cooked around the church, and so when my dad came back, that's the church that he thought that he wanted to start his family at. And I was 10 months old, and I grew up in the church all my life. So I've been there about 23 years of the 100 years that the church has been here. And I just really never found the urge to explore any other options because that was all I knew.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I'm sorry. Did you have one more thing you were going to add?
no, sir.
Okay, all right. How about you, Kaylin? Tell us your story.
Well, I was actually talking about it with my mom the other day. She was like, I remember we used to just carry you in the car seat and you just would go to church and just sit there. And she was like, you were just so quiet and just listen. But I have been there for all my life. I haven't gone to any other church. It really is home to me. I don't really see myself leaving or doing anything else like that. I've learned a lot from that church, and it really is like a big family. And I do love that we all just know each other. We all stay in contact regardless of the COVID and stuff. But it has been a good church to me, and I've been there for the 22-ish years out of the 100. So it's been a good experience.
Well, it sounds like some of the things that you have all mentioned really strikes to the heart of what makes St. Luke so special to you and to the membership. I was reading some of the previous comments from the time, Anne, that you had created the 98 reasons for being a member of and remembering Greater St. Luke, and one of them was it's a sense of community that you have there. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's still going on, and that you really want to keep that strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gemeral, I think if I could jump in now,
Sure.
the things that I see at St. Luke is that the minister as well as the members are, yes, we come to church to get our souls filled.
Yeah.
And we also are very actively involved in the community. For example, we have health fairs there at church, at least once a year,
Okay.
where
Yes.
you can come, and you don't have to be a member of the church on that particular day. You can come fasting and get your body mass and blood sugar and blood pressure and several things. We have had the mobile mammography unit there, where we have done mammograms. We have participated in voter registration. And I kid you not when I say that there is an individual that's running for an elected position, that they always find a way to make their way to St. Luke and ask if they can talk to the church members.
Yes.
So, that to me says a lot. That number one, that people know that we're there on their corner. Number two, that somebody feels like that the people at St. Luke are influential, that the people at St. Luke are involved in the voting process. And number four, that they want to share their story with the people at St. Luke so that they can garnish those votes. So, when you think about church and Christianity, if you just stay inside the church, just go talk about it and take it out into the community, well, then you're not really doing what you're supposed to do. And there are any number of people that are involved with doing things for the homeless. I know Olivia's mother. The last time, well, it wasn't the last time I saw her, but a couple of months ago, I guess I saw her. She was down at the church collecting items, clothing items, no, not clothing items, personal items and things to take to Grace Campus, which is a facility here in Lubbock where homeless people stay. And then there is a minister and his wife who feed people in the park. So St. Luke has a long and storied history of taking Christianity out into the community and doing for others who cannot do for themselves. My family went to St. Luke. I moved to Lubbock in 1972. And I think I actually became a member in 73 or 74. And I have witnessed, that if you go out into the community, chances are you're going to run into somebody from St. Luke, because St. Luke members are out there in the community doing stuff.
Well, that's the reason why people should be celebrating if they have an anniversary, because they are not just keeping all the message within the four walls. They're getting it outside of that, and they're working the message.
Right. And I remember when you were still living in Lubbock, you were involved with Boy Scouts.
well, just before we go there, I was about to say something to Olivia when she mentioned her folks, because I think I remember your mom and your dad there. See, so I remember the times that they were there, and it was really a joy. I have to step out and say, well, Margaret's right. A couple of fellows, Eddie Dixon and James Minor, and their families were there. And so I began thinking about the time that I had been a scout in San Antonio, where I grew up. And I thought, there are a lot of boys here. And so I said, well, let's try that. And they said, good, but you be the boys, you be the scoutmaster. So it was a thing that they thought, okay, you ought to handle it, Gemeral. So I said, okay, fine. And I really had a blast. We had like maybe 8 to 12 boys at any given time. And a story that reminds me of my time there was that we took the boys in a church van to Tres Ritos in the mountains in New Mexico. And those boys had never been out of Lubbock, let alone the state of Texas, and into another state. So we were in North New Mexico, and they had a blast setting up the camp. And I'll try to end this episode because there were a lot of them. But as we were coming back, we drove through Santa Fe, and I took them to a restaurant, and I said, "Okay, all of you can eat whatever you like. You just got to make sure that you eat it all." So they did. But there was this one boy named Jerome Curry. He finished before everybody else. So I said, "Okay, Jerome, you can have another, and you can have as many as you like, so long as you eat it all." So he was ordering burgers there, and all the guys were saying, "Jerome, you gonna order another one?" I didn't know I was gonna be in for that kind of financial hit, but it was okay because they all had a blast. And all of the parents really supported whatever the scout committee wanted us to do, and some of the crazy things that I thought they would have a blast doing. So it was really a fun time. I just really think highly of the commitment that Reverend Ford at the time had, and it was just a joy. It was just a joy. So thanks for reminding me, Margaret. Now I'm going to ask the younger members to tell us a little bit about themselves. Olivia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am an early Head Start teacher right now, and I am going to school for nursing. I want to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Okay.
But right now, I am working at a Head Start school, and I have a classroom of 8 kids, and I really have a passion for little ones. So I'm just trying to get my feet wet and see if this is the career and passion that I will continue to have. And I think my drive and my commitment to the kids have been because I've seen so many people in the church help raise me. So I just took it and just roll with it. And I think that I just have a passion to help others, little ones, and teach them and let them grow and trying to give them a little wisdom and experience that I have been taught along the way.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. How about you, lady? Kaylin?
I am currently a student at Texas Tech. I have one more year to graduation, but I will be graduating with a chemistry degree. After that, I will go to dental school. Hopefully, I'm either looking in Dallas or Houston. I'm really pushing forward to Dallas, but that's something that I'm interested in. That's something I want to do.
Okay. Are you in any of the missions or the teams at Greater St. Louis?
Yes, me and Olivia are actually in the junior mission section of the mission group. Yes.
Okay.
In church, we both have been in the choir. We both have been on the usher board. We started off as GA girls, and so I think that girl auxiliary, we kind of outgrew it. So we're going to step up and get into our mission ladies and have them help with us. We also have got out of our youth choir a little bit, and we joined and made our own little young adult choir for college and career girls.
Sure.
And that's just a couple of roles we have anywhere in the church that they're asked us to do, whether it's reading the scripture, whether it's singing, anything they ask, we're always put up to the test, and we always make sure we follow through.
So they have your phone number, huh?
Yes, sir. They know us really well. They know they can call on me or Caitlin, and we're always there to lead the way.
They either text you or call you, so they know how to. Now, Anne, let us talk a little bit about you. What did you do for a living, and how long have you lived in Lubbock?
Okay, I am retired. I did work for Housing and Urban Development, but then all those years I had 40 years of service, so it was time to get out.
Okay.
All right, and then right now I've got 3 granddaughters and 1 great, and so that kind of keep me busy. Then even though they don't live here, they still keep me busy.
And you mentioned earlier about how you're the superintendent at Sunday school, Bible school. So I forget. What was that?
Well, yes, I'm Sunday school superintendent, and I am director of Vacation Bible School.
Oh, I remember Vacation Bible School. And Margaret, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, Eddie and I moved to Lubbock in 1972. I grew up in East Texas and had never really been to Lubbock until I came out for a job interview to work for Lubbock Independent School District. And they convinced me that I should stay here. What's interesting is my folks had told me, well, you can go and interview, but don't sign a contract. Well, I signed a contract, and all the way home, I kept thinking, what am I going to tell my mom and my dad? And that was like in May of 72. And then before I took the job, well, then Eddie and I got married, so I didn't have to come to Lubbock by myself.
Sure.
And we've been here for that long, since 1972. I worked for Lubbock Independent School District for 42 years as a diagnostician, a counselor, a special education teacher, consultant, assistant principal. In the last 21 years, I worked as a principal and was really blessed to have many children who had gone to church or who were in church at St. Luke. And sometimes when the children would come by themselves and they got restless or needed a motherly hand or something, they would come and sit with me. So that was always good, because I already knew them and they knew what the deal was, so they just come and sit with me and everything was good.
Yeah.
We raised 3 children here in Lubbock and haven't have not regretted living in Lubbock.
Yeah. Just one more thing about the students who attended school and then saw you at Greater St. Luke. Do you think it was a kind of different connection that they saw in you away from school? They saw you as the principal at school, but now they see a different dimension away from school.
Yeah, I think so. Gemeral, I am old enough to remember, or I actually did attend segregated schools from first grade through 12th grade. I was at a Black school, and the teachers I would see them at church. So it was kind of like, how we say it takes a village. Well, it was kind of like that. I never really left the village because I would see them at church. I would see them at school. I would see them at the grocery store in different places. And you're exactly right. I think that when children see the adults that are teaching them out, not just in the classroom, that they already have a connection with you. They already know what your expectations are. And that helps, that just kind of puts you just a little bit above. I know Olivia is very, she does not go around thumping her chest and talking about what she does. But I have seen her, when we were able to go to church, not just virtual, but I have seen Olivia do the same thing. When little kids get restless or something, I can see their parents or somebody kind of looking around like, where's Olivia? Where's Olivia? And then she goes and she helps. And Anne does the same thing with children. So back to what we had said earlier is that there's a sense of community. There's a sense of camaraderie. And people are they step in and step up and lend a helping hand. So back to your point is that if I saw a child act up at church, well then if I wasn't close by, you can rest assured come Monday morning. So we'd say, now you can't be representing your school like that at church, and that's not the way we do things here. And that would be okay. And I think that again, that because there's that sense of community and familyness, that it's okay to say to this child, and I know I've seen Ann do this many times, like in Vacation Bible School, is that you might not be the child's mother, but it's okay for you to say, or that's not the way that we do things. And nobody gets upset with you about that.
Sure. No, and that again, that goes back to that sense of community. It really does.
Exactly.
Now, while we're going to go through some of the other points that came up in the program 2 years ago, while Mr. Sanders shows us perhaps building itself of Greater St. Luke, and then go to the last picture when it of years ago. So if Mr. Foster can do that, a couple of things that I noticed in the listing of 98 points from 2 years ago were, let's see here, it was got to roll with this thing here. There is altar call. These were 98 reasons for appreciating Greater St. Luke. There is altar call. I have the Bible that I got when I graduated, or Reverend Davis baptized me, or I was baptized at St. Luke over 30 years ago, or my daddy was a deacon, or we learned Bible verses, or I feel like I have made friends for life at the church. So again, these are just ways that Greater St. Luke has tried to celebrate its existence and how members have been thinking about it. Kaylin, can you think of a time when you were interacting with a member? That member may not even be, they may have passed on, but can you think of a time when it was really kind of special that they talked to you or just paid attention to you a little bit?
Yes, I can say that Miss Lovejoy, she's not here with us anymore, but she was really a person that really just kind of stuck on you and stuck with you and just kind of helped you out if you need anything. Even if you didn't ask for anything, she just wanted to make sure that you're okay and that you're good. I always appreciated her for that. I'm pretty a low back, quiet, don't say too much, but she was always there like, come on, let me push you to do more and get active. And so she was really, that really stuck with me just to kind of come out my shell a little bit and get more active in the church and things like that.
Well, good. How about you, Olivia? Can you think of something?
There's a lot of ladies in the church that I remember growing up. For instance, I remember Miss Swisher. She was our Baptist Training Union director, and we would go to BTU in the evening time on Sundays at 5 o'clock, and we'd get ready for Congress. We would whatever age group. I remember being in the storytelling. I remember being in books of the Bible. I remember being in memory verses and sword drill. And she really pushed us. A lot of kids I know growing up, I was a little intimidated by Miss Swisher, but it's because she loved us so hard. She pushed us to do better. She pushed us to know the word. And I knew all the ladies in church, they kind of gave me like a grandmotherly love. So since I lost my grandmother so young, they really stepped up to the plate and they showed me the right way. And Miss Swisher, she really stuck out to me. I remember my favorite thing about BTU would be at the end when she would say, put up your boosters, and we'll put up our arms and we say, booster, booster, be a booster. And she would tell us, don't be lazy like you used to. Be a favorite, great and small, do it well and not at all. And that's just one thing that stick with me, because it's some days when I get out of bed and I'm just like, oh, I really don't want to go to work, or I really don't want to study for this test, or I don't know. I just, some days you're just tired. And so I tell myself, booster, be a booster, don't be lazy. And so that really stuck to me. And that's one fond memory that I have about St. Luke. I'm sorry, but I have to go down the line of some of the members that we have lost. Another member, Miss Richardson. I really remember a lot about Miss Richardson because she, along as like Ms. Crowder said, they were both our Sunday school directors and superintendents, and so I remember we would go to church early in the morning for Sunday school, and she would be there. And when we get down from class, they'll talk about what we learned in class, and that was one fun memory I liked. And then we would, in the summertime, we would go on trips, and so many trips and so many different places we experienced, and it really made me have a different look on our church. Like, wow, I don't know about any other church that go on trips, and I don't know that they're learning what we're learning. And it's just, we're not learning just about God. We are learning about God, but we're learning about the real world. So they really helped prepare me, and I really love the connection that she had for the kids, because it was just so many. I remember so many youth being in that church, and we had the great opportunity to do things like that. And like Caitlin said, Miss Jewel Love, she was our secretary at St. Luke, and she also was our youth director. And every Saturday we would get ready for youth practice, and she would be there, and she'll help. She would just listen to the music, and I know when Miss Love would just be into the music, she would love how it sound, and she would just be really proud of us. And we always had programs, and she'll make sure we had our speeches for Easter, or she made sure she had on a nice little skit for Christmas time. And she always made sure we were dressed up really nice, and she made us wear bow ties and on, and she made sure that her babies were looking nice in the choir. And I just really love Miss Love. I remember when we were done with youth practice, we ended with scripture, and one of the scriptures that I remember to this day is Proverbs 3:6. We would say, "In all their ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct our path." Proverbs 3:6. And so that's how we ended our practice. And one of the scriptures that she made us memorize to enter in practice would be Psalms 23. And that goes, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And so things like that stuck with me because they installed it into me. And I just really appreciate those ladies in the church and their motherly love and their dedication, because them ladies didn't have to do that. They didn't have to be in our church. They didn't have to be in our lives and be dedicated to us, but it really impacted us, and it inspired me. And that's one of the reasons why I love St. Luke.
Well, Margaret and Ann, so many churches have become, some have become so huge, 14,000 members and that sort of thing. And as I was reading the 98 ideas about why people love Greater St. Luke, one of them was that there is still altar call. And it's moments like that. It's traditions like that may be lost with the very large churches. And I wonder if that's another thing why you believe youth who attend Greater St. Luke like it so much, because adults have hands-on with them.
Mm-hmm. You are exactly right. And I think that one of the reasons why St. Luke still holds on to those old traditions, I would say, number one, is because we are small enough to be able to do it. Number two, because, and he'll kill me if he hears me saying that he's old. This pastor is a seasoned pastor. Yes. He's a seasoned pastor, and I think that if we had to name that there are several ministers here in Lubbock and even outside of Lubbock that have grown up at St. Luke, and I would say that they would refer to him as their father in the ministry. So Robert Ford still has even though he's progressive in many ways, there are still old traditional things that he holds on to, and I appreciate that. I guess in my list of looking at one of the reasons why I continue to hold on to St. Luke is because of the minister and the relationship that I have with the members there. St. Luke is one of those churches where if you have a talent and if you're willing to use it for the Lord, they'll let you use it. I know, not everybody can sing, not everybody can be an usher, not everybody can be a spokesperson. But whatever your talent is, you don't hide it under a bushel basket. You use it, and again, I would attribute that to several things. Number one is the friendliness of the church members, and number two, because of the example that Dr. Ford sets for us there at the church.
And have you seen that kind of tradition throughout the time when you were a young member and up till today? Have you seen that kind of giving and connection that folks make as members?
Yes, I know went from way back. It's all, everybody was like a connection. We all, work together, pray together, as it says, and stay together. So, I mean, we were all close knit. And, when one hurt, the other hurt. So, yes, there is a good connection between all of the members. Really is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just a couple more things. I understand that there's like 11 or maybe 12 pastors that have led the church since the beginning 100 years ago, and the one before the current minister or the pastor was Reverend A.L. Davis, and he served for about 29 years. And then once he retired, then it was Reverend J.H. Ford. I remember both of them, and it was under Reverend Ford where the New Scout troop began. And what was the name of the previous scoutmaster?
Chester Henderson.
Yeah, Chester Henderson. And he probably was under Reverend Davis at the time.
Yeah. That's right. He was.
And so, again, when Margaret first talked about doing a podcast for Greater St. Luke, I just thought it was really a great idea. I am so glad that we have the seasoned members as well as the up and coming seasoned members. I'd like to see if, perhaps you have a final thought about Greater St. Luke. Again, it is celebrating its 100th anniversary of being in Lubbock, of being of service to those in Lubbock, and to be a beacon for those who want to merge Christianity with the duties on earth. Margaret, since you're the chair or co-chair, please, can I start with you, and then we'll round out after Ann, and then Kaylin, and then Olivia.
Okay. First, before I start talking, I want to do a personal thank you, Gemeral, for allowing us to do this. I sent you an email way back, and then I need to contact Gemeral. So thank you for being so willing to do this. I have a very special relationship with you and your wife. So you all are very dear friends to me and to Eddie and to my children. So thank you for this opportunity. St. Luke might not be one of the largest churches, but I would say that when it comes to having and I don't want to say that other churches don't have a relationship with God. I don't mean that, but we have real church. We have real church, and it just pleases me. It does my heart good when I go to church to listen to the sermon. And I'm not a person who's always up doing stuff. I find my lane and I try to stay in it. And I just try to do whatever I am asked to do. And I just find it a privilege to be able to serve God through St. Luke. And again, thank you for giving us this opportunity to tell the story about Greater St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church in Lubbock, Texas.
No problem. No problem. And
Yes, I must say that I love my church, and I work in it. I'm in every phase of church. But St. Luke has helped me to grow to be a better person. You know, I always say, uh, church is not in the four walls. It's outside the building. So I enjoy working. I whatever I can do, and many times Dan, you need to be quiet and let somebody else do it. So I think that I'm up too much in before the church, but anyway, I enjoy it. I really do. And I definitely enjoy working with the youth. So I just love my church.
thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Ann. How about you, Kaylin?
Same thing. I love my church. Will always love my church. Love my pastor, my first lady. They're very special to me. They treat me just like I'm one of their own, but I feel like they treat everyone like that. It's just a really good connection and love that we have for them and with them. I really do appreciate the church just really helping me grow and expand my mind and learn new things and try new things and get to travel and meet different people and stuff like that. You know, not a lot of kids get that type of help just from other people where they can just be able to learn and grow. So I really appreciate my church for helping me just learn and grow into myself and finding God and listening to Him and, you know, just learning how to pray and speak and things like that. So it has really been really good for me.
Thanks. Olivia?
Just putting more emphasis on everything that these ladies have already stated. The church, they have really raised us. I can say that because I didn't know most of the things that I learned is from the church, and I brought it to the schoolhouse, and then just the love that they have for everyone, it really makes you feel like home, like we're all family. And I know there's a scripture saying, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he gets old, he won't depart from it. And they really have done that with us. One of the fond memories, I'm sorry, I had to just go back and just talk about, I remember going on these trips. We went to Louisville, Kentucky, and I remember when we got the baseball bats and we went to museums, and I remember going to Birmingham and we learned about the Fifth Street Baptist Church bombing and some of these, and it's just history. So like things I didn't learn in school, I was taught at church. I was taught scriptures. I was taught the word. I remember doing sword drill practice at Mrs. Ford and Reverend Ford House. And I remember how dedicated she was and determined for me to really know everything. I remember telling Miss Ford, I just can't get this part down. I don't know these scriptures very well. And she made sure I was in her house every day so I could know. And I love the dedication and the passion that they have for us. And sure enough, I learned those verses and I was so quick on turning those pages in the Bible, and I made it all the way to state. And I remember I got first place, and I couldn't do anything but thank Miss Ford for that. And I remember going to Washington D.C. and we went to a lot of monuments and the Capitol, and just knowing your history. I don't know. There's not many African American kids that can say that they went on trips and they done seen the world like that. And I'm just blessed to have that experience, because Pastor Ford didn't have to say we're going there, we're going here, or we're going to do this. They really didn't even have to ask us to go. And I just really thankful to see the world and just to know my history and to know more about the world and know more about God, because everywhere we go, they push Christ into us, and the love that they had for us is really It's really amazing. My church is my home, and I want to make sure that after these years, that to the new generation that comes, that I can at least, I know they're not gonna know some of the members, but I can hopefully explain and let them know. Well, I know this person. I remember growing up, and this person did this for the church, and I can probably, I pray that I can be helpful with these ladies and gentlemen have installed into me.
You know, and that's how traditions continue, because someone remembers and they pass it on.
That's it.
Now, there's three things, and then perhaps if there's nothing else, we can end. One of the things is that I wanted to tell a story about how Margaret and Elaine met, my spouse. Elaine and I are sitting in the pews. We're on the same seats as Margaret is. And Elaine's on the end, then I'm there next to her right, and then Margaret is several seats away on the bench. And so Elaine is, soaking up the atmosphere of being at St. Luke for first or second time we gotten there. And so she looks down the row and she sees Margaret, but doesn't know the name. And she says, that she has a real pretty shade of lipstick on. And I said, who? And so my spouse points toward Margaret. So I think it was during the passing of the plate. Well, when I passed the plate over to her, I said, my wife wants to know what shade of color her lipstick is.
And I said, what? I looked around to make sure he had a wife sitting over there.
And so I said, it's her, it's not me. Margaret said, well, it's, whatever it was.
And then we became just like that.
But it was a poignant moment that I recall. Okay. So it was just like I said, a poignant moment. It brought us together, and that's what St. Luke does. The other is, what is the date, the actual date of the 100th anniversary? What is the actual date, Margaret?
Well, we're going to celebrate on May 2nd. It's the first Sunday in May.
Okay.
We had Maisha Nicholson and I are chairing, and in fact, we chaired the committee in 98, 99, and now we're doing it in 2001. So we're still kind of tweaking what kinds of things we're able to do. And of course, the CDC and the health department will dictate how we're able to celebrate. But we managed to have some sort of celebration last year. And we plan to have something this year. And it will be on the first Sunday in May, which is, I believe it's May 2nd, during the 11 o'clock service.
Okay. I'm not sure if you know this other story about Margaret, and that is a couple of years ago, she celebrated, a year ago or two, she celebrated her milestone birthday, okay? Her milestone birthday. And so Elaine and I come out because we want to help Margaret celebrate her birthday. But the outstanding, the most thoughtful way that she was bringing in celebrations for her birthday was to have a musical at Greater St. Luke. Now think about that. Most of the time people are thinking about, let's go to the Caribbean, or let's go to Paris, or let's have a big bash at the house. But she had some of that, but she also invited more people to help celebrate something about her, but it was being held for the financial benefit of the church. And so there was offering, but there was plenty of good singing and some poetry. It was just a wonderful event.
It was.
I'm letting you know, as as long as I've lived, I've not read anything about anybody's celebration of such a birthday that involved that. That was,
You know, Gemeral, I think these two young ladies sang.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
You want to sing a hum a song? You know, it was a most thoughtful thing to do for her church, which makes this church just that much more special to not only her, but to those who attended and those who are members. So I'm just, it's just a joy to make sure that folks know about the upcoming celebration, 100th celebration of Greater St. Luke in Lubbock, Texas. Now, the last thing is that there was, like I said, 98 items of why people love Greater St. Luke. So they need 2 more. Kaylin, Olivia, will you be able to come up with 2 more, 1 apiece, so that you can give it to the chairperson so she can include it in the list of 100 reasons of why St. Luke should be celebrated? Can you do that? You don't have to do it now. You have to do it.
Well, you know what? They just unmuted themselves, so I believe they want to share.
Oh, you got it ready? Kaylin, hit it.
I mean, I didn't really have anything to share, but I can definitely give you another reason at some time.
Okay, Olivia.
I'm scared. One of my reasons might be already written down.
Okay, it looks like Kaylin has a reason, Gemeral. I think she said.
Just like a little off-topic reason, I actually met Olivia there, and that is my sister, my best friend, to the end of the world. So that's another thing that, I have a lot of good friendships and friends that I grew up with in the church that might not be there now, but we still stay in contact and family. So it really is, like we always said, like a big community. So I'm just really thankful for those friendships and those relationships that we built and had in the church.
Okay, how about this? You can tweak this if you like. You get to meet, St. Luke is a place where you get to meet your sisters in love.
Sisters in love, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you got yours down. Olivia, she's got to work on hers, okay?
I would say, it's kind of on the spot, but one of the things I would say is that
you know how to text and you know how to call Margaret Randall.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, at least we got 1 down. We got 1 to go, right?
And you know what, Gemeral, once we get that 100th, well, we're going to send you a revised list. 100 reasons why.
Okay.
We'll make sure that you get that.
I'll look for the email. Okay.
Okay. All righty.
Again, it's a joy again to talk about the 100th year celebration for Greater St. Luke in Lubbock, Texas. And we've been listening to Olivia, Kaylin, Margaret, and Ann, the strong proponents of just the small group that's here that represents the greater group at Greater St. Luke. Again, thank you so much for your time. And we'll just look forward to hearing about more great things from Lubbock and from Greater St. Luke, okay?
And thank you again, Gemeral, for this opportunity. It was really nice. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
My joy.
And thank you to your technician, to Mr. Foster.
Mr. Foster?
Mr. Foster. Thank you, Mr. Foster.
Okay. All right, Mr. Foster, you can, here's what you do. You cut off everybody else's voice except for Ann. She's going to want to, she wants to do a monologue.
What?